Tim Pascarella was talking about a conditional loan approval. We're happy with everything's moving along just fine. Maybe they need an updated bank statement. Maybe they need a new pay stub over there at Ross Mortgage, Tim. They always have those kind of updates. But let's say we're getting to the home stretch. We're looking for the CTC. What goes into a clear to close?
The almighty.
There it is.
So besides all the smiles that when you get that phone call that you got the clear to close.
Well, I'm actually glad you brought that up because so many people think once you're there, you're done. Like we're done. And for the most part, you are done. Unfortunately, the bank is not done. There's compliance. That compliance word. Tim Ross, the owner of our company, he always likes to joke that we're a compliance company that happens to do mortgages.
That's good. That's right. You got to follow the rules. You got to follow the rules.
Yeah. So you've given us all your updates. You've turned in all your conditions. We've turned them all into the underwriter, and the underwriter has given you the clear to close. At this point, what has to happen is the post-closing or pre-closing department has to take a look at it, make sure you followed all the right dates, make sure you basically the way it started is the way it finished. Making changes in today's mortgage industry is nothing like it used to be. You call me up and you say, I want to lower my loan $2,000. Most people would think, no problem, right? It's just a little more complicated than that. Once we've gotten out of pre-closing, we send it to the closing table. The closing people prepare the docs. Now, this is all about a 48 to 72 hour window. Right. So a lot of people, they hear that clear to close and they're like, can I close tomorrow?
Yeah.
No.
You can't. We'd love to. We would love to.
There's a big packet of papers that come from your office. They go usually to a title company, and they've got to review everything, and there's got to be a HUD statement prepared, and every detail about that transaction is line by line, painstakingly prepared.
Absolutely. And what I tell everyone out there, and the buyers, listing, realtors, you name it, is that all of this is boiling down to the fact that you're not really going towards the closing date when it comes to getting all your information. You're really going to about a week before.
Right.
You need to get all that stuff a week before so that you can hit that date. So once we send the package off to the title company does their due diligence, make sure everything's right. They send us back a closing package, and now we're ready to close.
Now that we have maybe a closing date scheduled, Tina, there's an important part here from the real estate agent.
Yeah.
We want to do our final walkthrough.
Yep.
What do we do?
You go back to the house with the client and make sure that the house is in the same condition as when you made the offer originally. That there hasn't been a fire and the house isn't there anymore.
Now you joke about it, but I actually had a deal. Wasn't the house burned down, but the garage did.
Yeah.
We went back for the final walkthrough, guys. And then the garage was gone.
Jeez.
Right.
There was no garage. It had caught fire somehow. I think it was about 4th of July and the fireworks or something. Maybe some kids playing,
Yeah.
And there's nothing but a slab there. It had caught fire. The fire department put it out, but too late. It had to be deconstructed and removed, and it was in a dumpster in the driveway. There was no garage.
Yeah.
But you'd want to know that before you go to closing if you're a buyer, right? So final walkthrough. Some other things, sometimes deals, there's some pretty nice fancy chandelier grandmother put into the dining room. Is it still there when we go do the final walkthrough? Every now and then I've seen suddenly a cheap Home Depot flush mount light,
or just a hole.
or somebody doesn't know that if it's attached to the house, it goes with the house.
That's right. And if it's not going with the house, that has to be in the purchase agreement and negotiated beforehand.
Right.
We call them exclusions, and they exist. No, we are not selling grandmother's chandelier with the house.
Right, exactly.
And then you negotiate, okay, well, if that's okay with me as a buyer, what are we getting where grandmother's chandelier was?
Right.
And you want these final walkthroughs matter. Have you got any horror story on that? Have you ever come across anything like this?
It was more had to do with appliances.
Yeah, appliances.
There was a famous appliance swap. Like, wait a second, there was Vikings in here when we came in. Now there's more.
Yeah. There's that. I lost a deal over a washing machine because somebody tried to pull a fancy one. Yeah. The buyer got upset, but I was representing the buyer, so I told him, we're going to do a final walkthrough and make sure. And that wasn't the washing machine. The fancy front loader and all that was gone. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, that final walkthrough matters. Okay, so we get through there. Everything's fine. It checks out. The garage is still there. No one's pulled any fancy footwork on a appliance swap. And we're headed to the closing table.
I'll mention the C word one more time. you can't bring cash to the closing table.
There you go. You can bring a certified
cashier's
check. There you go. Cashier's check. There you go. Yeah.
So, the title company sends us back their documents. We review them to make sure it lines up with what we expected. And we give the buyer their final numbers, and the buyers go to the bank and get a certified fund check and take it to the closing table.
So that's where everybody's happy, right? The sellers have their goal met. They're selling their house. That was their goal. The buyers have their goal met. They're buying their house. That was their goal. We've done the due diligence of the inspection with the house. All the compliance issues for the lender are taken care of. We've gone back and checked on the final walkthrough. But boy, I tell you what, that closing is no piece of cake either. Have you seen the stack of papers, Andre, in these closings? I mean, you got to come with a lunch. You want to bring a little water, stay hydrated. You could get cramp up signing all these papers.
Yeah, I will say this though. Fortunately, I haven't had any marathon closings. They've all been, an hour or less, depending on the type of mortgage, and that's a tribute to the mortgage industry and the title industry. It's just, they do so much work up front and so much explanation that when it comes down to the closing, it's really just a matter of putting your signature on all the documents that are required.
Well, that in itself is what I'm talking about. You come out of there with all these papers. But the reason I brought up that stack of papers, Tina, is you want to work with professionals who understand every sheet in the packet.
Right.
The lender has got a packet of mortgage docs in there. The real estate docs in there. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite questions in these closings, Tim, is I'll ask the closing agent, how long did it take you to be able to understand every piece of paper you're about to put in front of people? And their answer is not like, about a couple days. It's like, 6 months. I mean,
for the first 6 months, I prayed for no questions.
No, but there's a lot to it. And American Dreamer, you can get there from here. You can see your dream fulfilled. If you will own your dream, as in take personal responsibility for it, you can own your dream, as in achieve it. It's important to look at all the different aspects of it and work with the right professionals. That's why we're here at Michigan Real Talk are bringing you some of Michigan's finest professionals every week to help you through this process. You can contact us anytime. Check out MichiganRealTalk.com. You can get in touch with us through that. Like that Facebook page. There's a lot of great information coming, that Michigan Real Talk Facebook page. But we're out of time today, so we want to say a special thanks to Tim Pascarella of Team Pascarella, powered by Ross Mortgage, walking us through Homeownership 101. Want to say thank you to our good friend Andre Salamy with Red Door Realty, an experienced agent helping people to realize their American dream, and
Keystone House with Franklin Title, and also Scott Fader with Suits for Soldiers.
And Steve Dealey, the wizard on the dials. You're listening to Michigan Real Talk here on 92.7 FM, AM 1400, The Patriot. It's powerful radio for powerful living.